meteorologist Erica Martin with Weather Co-op, where weather meets community. We are so excited to have you here with us as we talk about the tropics. We are talking about Hurricane Helene, as well as Invest 98L and Invest 99L. But first, we do have to talk about some weather that's that's occurring across portions of the nation, and then we're going to put all of our time into tracking Helene. So, if you guys don't know more about me, I am a meteorologist certified by the American Meteorological Society, CBM. I also am a Weather Ready Nation ambassador, and I am a certified Skywarn storm spotter with over 180,000 miles of tornado chasing under my belt. So, I am certainly inclined to go right towards the active weather that I'm seeing already moving through portions of the Tennessee Valley, but we'll get to that in just one moment. So let's start off with some of the simpler items as far as the wind goes, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go farther north and farther south and then go into the Gulf and the Atlantic Basin. Okay, let's get started here. So we are seeing several storms already. We're going to go ahead and populate these two. To just now. So let's take a look at all the storms that we're seeing moving through the bayou, through the Gulf states, including, Arklatex once again, right? So we've got some of Texas, we've got Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and even Alabama. We're seeing some storms moving through, and some of these are actually producing some really good size hail. Titan impact range at Weather Co-op is ranging between 2.6 to 5.0, which tells me they're strong. And the reason is there is a cold front that was stationary, and that stationary boundary, began to move along, and as it did, it certainly became a lot more aggressive because that cold air meeting up with that warmer air mass that doesn't fare very well. So we're going to talk about that. Let's get some wind particles on here so you can see what I mean. Woo! Geez, look at that. All right. So I'm telling you, right? Like that cold front comes through and they're not liking that warmer and moist air, right? That tropical air. So you can see what happens there. But I'm going to talk about a few things here, including that frontal boundary, an elongated area of low pressure, and of course, Hurricane Helene. We'll talk about Invest 98 and Invest 99L as well. And then an area of high pressure that's sitting in the middle of the country. That is also one of the steering mechanisms, not directly, but anything and everything that's in the atmosphere will impact how Helene moves and where she essentially will make her landfall, right? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and continue here with our 2-hour loop, and we're going to talk about some of the alerts that I see here. Now, this looks like Montana, Wyoming. This looks like it's fire weather, so we'll quickly touch on that. And let's see what we have here. Red flag warning in effect from noon today to 8 p.m. That's Mountain Daylight Time. This evening is the big concern is gusty conditions, low relative humidity. So fire weather zones for you include 314, 315, 316, 317, and 322. Affected area zones also include 314, Northern Campbell 315, Southern Campbell 316, Crook County Plains 317, Weston County Plains, and 322, Fall River County. So we're seeing, relative humidity at about 10%. Gosh, very, very dry and strong winds as that cold front was the generator of those strong winds. Let's see here. Yeah, that cold front and the trough is going to be a problem, and this is why I see that particular area be a place we want to take a look at. Okay, so there's essentially it's area of high pressure. We're also seeing this trough that's just kind of cutting across from Wyoming up through Montana. And let's see if we can just pull it up here. Let's take a look at what this is, guys. Let's show you. That's it right there. So you see this little line here. This little line, this guy right here, this is where that trough is, okay? And so this is where we're concerned with this area of any potential fire weather. Now, this one was interesting. We did see some very some very big concerns for high winds, right? So we had a high wind watch last night, and now we have a high wind warning that's been issued. And this is in effect from 9 p.m. tonight until 3 p.m. Thursday Mountain Time as well. Wind speeds up to 40 miles per hour, gusts up to 60, even greater at times. Let's see. So we have the concern for, of course, wind damage. So that's that cold front that's going to swing on down. That cold front is well offshore, but you can see it's just pushing in those northerly winds, right? That cold front. Let me see if I can go out a little bit here. That cold front is a little farther out. It's like right around there. Yeah, it's coming down. You can tell, because you see how like the clouds look a little kind of like what's the word? Uh kind of like poppy, like sporadic, spotty, if you will. That is an indicator that's cold air aloft. So that right there would tell me, oh, that's where the cold air is. That's the cold front. So that's what they're watching for. And this guy's going to dive down and, of course, wreak havoc as far as the winds go. So that's why we're seeing plenty of wind alerts. There's a wind advisory here in effect for portions of, again, Montana. We have that high wind warning. We have the wind advisory, portions of Idaho as well. And it looks like we're also seeing wind advisory for some of you in Washington State. And there was a bit of Oregon that was under that wind advisory, but perhaps not now. So we will definitely keep an eye out for you. All right. In the meantime, we also have heat concerns. Yeah, this was happening last night as well. Excessive heat warning in effect for portions of south central Arizona. And we also have excessive heat warning for Coachella Valley and San Diego County deserts. Okay. So just keep that in mind as we continue this, that we do have other types of weather that we are watching right now. Okay. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. And this stream right now should be going through my proper stream with Erica Martine. Okay. So we're going to we went through the weather happening across the nation. That's a lot more quiet, right? The middle of the country is quiet right now. Area of high pressure is holding, right? But then we're going to get to what everyone wants to get to. Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene is right here. And in one moment, I'm going to pick up our hurricane map graphic, and we're going to track her for you. But what you can see is that we have a pretty active system here in the Gulf, right? And you can also see that we are already getting all of the alerts, pretty much just protecting all of Florida. I will show you where I think Helene's going to make landfall, and I am pretty concerned about the wildlife. Okay, so with that said, let's quickly go over your temperatures and let's go over your dew points and current wind profiles. Okay, right now, speaking of Florida, Jacksonville, 86 degrees, Miami, 86 for you, New Orleans, 87, Jackson, Mississippi, 74 degrees with rain for Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, also seeing rain. It looks like just maybe broken rain right now. 69, Indianapolis, Kansas City, lots of sunshine, 73 degrees, 77 for Oklahoma City, very nice there. Mostly cloudy, mostly sunny skies. 73 for Dallas, Odessa 77, along with Garden City, Danbury, Sioux Falls seeing 70s, Bismarck 70s for you, Rapid City 81. Let's head on over to the Great Basin, and we're looking at things like let's see. Nevada. We're looking at 86 degrees, okay? Also, portions of the Intermountain West, 79 degrees there, and conditions are much cooler for Seattle at 62, 65 for Whitebird, Portland at 76, 61 for Redding, Los Angeles at 63 with a marine layer, and 67 for San Diego. Let's go to the Northeast. 64 in Boston, 68 in New York, and they are getting some rain in Buffalo. Temperatures in the 70s, 73 in Detroit. And Green Bay, 72 degrees. Okay, we did that. We had to go through all of our current temperatures. We also have to go through our current dew points, right? Because we do know that wherever we're seeing the higher dew point values and then how they react when the drier air bumps into them, this is where we start to get all that extra, action in the atmosphere. So we're generally seeing 70s in the southeast, right? The middle of the country seeing lots of 40s and 50s, a few 20s in the Great Basin region, and the Pacific Northwest in the 50s. The wind profile is pretty interesting right now because we do have that what was a stationary front now moving cold front right now. And you can see that the predominant push of wind of air has a northerly component in and along Arklatex. And then, of course, all eyes on Helene. So we're going to keep an eye on her. And let's see, a quick look at our wind speeds. This one's a little jam-packed, but I will do my best to kind of just break this up here and zoom on in. So we're seeing Charleston at 11 miles per hour, Jacksonville 14-mile-per-hour wind speeds. These are not wind gusts, these are wind speeds. We have 5-mile-per-hour wind speeds in Amarillo, 16 in Rapid City, 11 in Salt Lake City. Right now, Billings, 9 miles per hour, but we got to keep an eye on you here in Montana. We also have Boise at 6 miles per hour, Portland 6, 10 for Seattle, 10 for San Francisco, 6 for Los Angeles, and 6 for San Diego. Now we head up to our, so we head up to our, let's see here, our Helene. Okay, let's go with our Helene graphic here. Let's see what happens. So this is going to be very interesting, guys. So what I've done here was I overlaid the latitude, longitude. Some of you might not agree with that, but I do believe that in this case, it's quite important to have that because you do really want to understand and silo off weather. Now, the thing with weather, as I've always said, is that weather it's massive, right? It's a planet. I mean, it's a planet with all types of weather, all types of land masses, and oftentimes I'd like to just cover weather in Asia, and I don't have time to get to it. And then sometimes I would love to cover the weather in the southern hemisphere, but I just don't have time for it, right? So right now we're focusing on what's happening in the Atlantic basin because we are tracking the tropics. Okay. And so, as I mentioned to you guys, are you seeing here? We have Invest 98L at the location 14.7 degrees north, 33 degrees west. And as I said last night, we were at 15 north, 30 west. Currently moving at 25 miles per hour. And it's a westerly movement at 18 miles per hour, 1,009 millibars. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting. Very interesting. So let's see what happens. This one, there's not much between this and, oh gosh, the Carolinas. Let's see what this does here. We've got to take a better look at what this does. Let me open up something else here so that we can have a better idea of what's happening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Invest 98L looks like she will make landfall here in the contiguous U.S. Okay, so we've got to break things down. Right now, Invest 98L, we know she's important because we've got to keep track of her, okay? We know that there is just nothing there that's going to stop her. The sea surface temperatures are very warm. In fact, let's take a look at one of our sea surface temperature maps. Let's pop this in here quickly. I'm glad you guys can join me. Again, if you are, generally I do my lives from my weather co-op page, but I did from my With Erica Martine page. So I do hope that you're able to see all the graphics, okay? So what we wanted to look at, of course, was the sea surface temperatures. So we're looking at sea surface temperatures in the 86, 88 degree range. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So basically what we're seeing, of course, is that she's already I said this last night. I said she was hours away from becoming category 1. That wasn't a surprise. And she's hours away from becoming category 2, to be quite honest with you. And she will become a category 3 much sooner than we initially anticipated. Something I wanted to bring to everybody's attention I thought was interesting was the Apalachicola National Forest. Okay, so let's go back to Helene's graphic here. This one specifically for Helene. We're going to talk about the Apalachicola National Forest and why I am concerned for the national forest, okay? Because this looks where she's going to make landfall. So Sapchapi, Florida. What I did last night, if some of you were on, you would know that I wanted to kind of have an assignment. I wanted to see the distance between Sapchapi, Florida to Calvary, Georgia. That's approximately 57.9 miles. Okay. I wanted to compare that to that distance 2, 5, 10, even 20 years ago. I'll be doing that probably over the next couple of days, but by the weekend. Then I wanted to consider the distance between Sapchapi, Florida, to Calvary after Hurricane Helene makes landfall. I think that will be quite interesting. I don't know what you all might think, but I do think that that would be very interesting, especially since we're talking about 80,000 acres of wetlands gone every year, especially when we're talking about beach erosion, miles and miles and miles of land being displaced by water. I'm curious to know. And the reason I was curious to know is because, as you can see here, it looks like Helene will make landfall as a Category 3, and it looks like Sapchapi is the location. Well, this area, East Point, Sapchapi, this area here, St. Mark's, this is all very much considered to be a part of the Apalachicola National Forest, right? And I wanted to give you some insight as to what we see at the Apalachicola National Forest, okay? Um, it's the largest U.S. national forest in the state of Florida, encompassing 632,890 acres. Um, let's see, it's just outside Tallahassee, Florida, and it's the forest land spans almost 1.2 million acres in North and Central Florida, and that includes about 500,000 acres of wetlands. Wow. And more than 85,000 acres of designated federal wilderness, more than 1,400 miles of trails, and 118 developed recreation sites that host more than 1.1 million visitors every single year. This is so heartbreaking. This is so heartbreaking. Let me look at exactly where she is on a map there. Let's see. Because I looked at all of the Ocala. Let's see here. I think Aunt Jen is in Ocala. I'll give her a call shortly. Okay. So Florida's National Forest also houses more than 3,700 documented archaeological sites and nearly 55 historic sites. Our employees also care for 136 plant species and 36 animal species that are either threatened or endangered. Oh, poor things. Poor things. That's so sad. Let's see if we get this up here. Cola. Okay. Let's see here what we can get, okay? We're going to just pull up a map. Okay, so we can see exactly what we're seeing here. Because I'm seeing a landfall somewhere around East Point, Sapchapi, etc. But I see St. Mark's. Could she be a little too? Could this Helene really impact the wildlife there? And the answer is yes. This is just going to steamroll right through the national forest. It makes me so sad. I am so incredibly sad right now to know that such special, precious wildlife will be compromised. Where are they going to go? I don't want people going in there to try to save them. But I'll probably call them when I'm done here to give them an update on the landfall of Hurricane Helene. But it makes me very sad. Very, very sad. Okay. So she makes landfall as a category 3 at approximately 8 p.m. on Thursday. Looks like wind speeds at 125 miles per hour, and that allows her to be categorized as a category 3. She continues as a category 3, right? Until she gets to Georgia. Let's see. And initially at Georgia, I thought she would maintain strength as a category 1, but it looks like she may be a tropical storm by then. And the reason we wanted to know what was going on was because we thought if we're seeing 57.9 miles between Sapchapi, Florida to Calvary, Georgia, we understand that there's less land mass there, right? So not as much friction, which could actually keep the hurricane maintaining its position as a hurricane, right, as she continues north. So Helene will be tracking very closely. But this has been quite an amazing, quite an amazing journey. Remember, she began the genesis of Helene was in the southern Gulf of Mexico, and she has since absolutely continued to strengthen. And now it is about making sure that we keep you all safe. We can see here that we're looking at things like, let's see here, what do we have? Significant tornado parameters. What we'll do here is we'll remove the watches and the warnings. Okay. Alrighty. Contours. We'll just take a look here. And we want to know what we have here. We'll also take a look at other items like supercell composite. There we go. Do you see that white line that just populated? Supercell composite, right? Let's turn that into something different. We're trying to see what we could all really maybe help with when we're speaking to our family and friends and colleagues in the area. We're looking at power outage index map. I also did include it in stories. And we also are discussing, let's see, let's pick something else. Significant tornado parameters. Let's see what happens here. This is one of those things as well where we're looking at the potential for significant tornadoes. And generally speaking, you would find those in the right front quadrant. Okay. So I wanted to give you an initial look here at what we can expect here from Helene. And I just think that this is quite fascinating that she is going to continue to strengthen. And really, as we can see here, wow, strengthen to a category 3 by looks like 8 a.m. Thursday. Gosh, I'm curious about something. How much? Okay. Okay. Listen to this. Listen to this. All right, guys. So, I always want to give you all a little extra. Okay. As of 2023, 432.5 miles of Florida's beaches are considered critically eroded, which means they are worn down or changed to the point that they are threatened or destroy cultural resources, wildlife habitats, recreational interests, or upland development. This is more than half of Florida's 825 miles of coastline. Number one, reason: storms. Sea level rise, human interference, inlets. But we have critically compromised land in Florida. So there is less of Florida, more of the water around Florida. So I'm not surprised that yesterday it looked like Helene was going to strengthen into a category 3 closer to the shoreline. But now took it a couple miles back and said, nope, I think this is where I'm going to hit category 3. There's nothing out here. There's no wind shearing. My winds are looking good from the bottom up. There is no Saharan dust. There is plenty of fuel here because sea surface temperatures are in the upper 80s, low 90s. The water's just fine. It's lovely, actually. It's lovely, is what this Helene is saying. And so she's just strengthening, and she's just working her way towards Florida Sup Chuppy. Okay. And there it is. Do you see how she goes into the national forest? This is when she goes into the Apalachicola National Forest. I want to know more about them. I want to know more about what's in the Apalachicola Forest. Managing the land. Resources. Let's see, fires. Let's see, Apalachicola. Apalachicola National Forest. Animals. Okay. So they have black bears, coyotes, deer, foxes, raccoon, wild turkeys, bald eagles, brown pelicans, osprey, red-bellied woodpeckers, red-shouldered hawks, pileated woodpeckers. Jay, I need your help with that one. And more than 280 species of native birds. Reptiles and amphibians include the Apalachicola ecosystem. Reptiles and amphibians. It is the highest diversity of amphibians and reptiles in North America and north of Mexico. Let's talk about the fish. The Apalachicola ecosystem has the greatest number of freshwater fish species in Florida. Other animals include alligators, cotton rats, cottontails, fox squirrels, and black racers. Carnivorous plants include Chapman's butterworth and pink sundew, which catch small insects and invertebrates. Wow. Black bear, white-tailed deer, coyotes, foxes, armadillos, tortoises. Oh, guys, this is really heartbreaking for me. It really makes me sad to see that, yeah, we are going to have a problem when it comes to what's going on here. So we're going to keep you updated. I just want to do one quick post here on Hurricane Helene. She's going to be a big problem. We'll talk about storm surge the next time we meet up, but I wanted to give you an initial look at where she will likely make landfall as a Category 3. All right, I'm meteorologist Erica Martin, Weather Ready Nation Ambassador, Skywarn Storm Spotter, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have, of course, when it comes to weather. Have a good one. Bye, guys. Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Erica Martin. I've got quite a few things going on here. We are, of course, on our Weather Co-op platforms. I'm actually coming to you from the Weather Co-op platform here, but we definitely have lots to go over as far as weather today. My gosh. And here I am as well across more of our platforms. So we're going to get started here and talk about everything that is happening. Let's go ahead and open up everything we need to open up and get started with our Good Wednesday morning. morning. It's certified broadcast meteorologist Erica Martin with Weather Co-op, where weather meets community. We are so excited to have you here with us as we talk about the tropics. We are talking about Hurricane Helene, as well as Invest 98L and Invest 99L. But first, we do have to talk about some weather that's that's occurring across portions of the nation, and then we're going to put all of our time into tracking Helene. So, if you guys don't know more about me, I am a meteorologist certified by the American Meteorological Society, CBM. I also am a Weather Ready Nation ambassador, and I am a certified Skywarn storm spotter with over 180,000 miles of tornado chasing under my belt. So, I am certainly inclined to go right towards the active weather that I'm seeing already moving through portions of the Tennessee Valley, but we'll get to that in just one moment. So let's start off with some of the simpler items as far as the wind goes, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go farther north and farther south and then go into the Gulf and the Atlantic Basin. Okay, let's get started here. So we are seeing several storms already. We're going to go ahead and populate these two to just now. So let's take a look at all the storms that we're seeing moving through the bayou, through the Gulf states, including Arklatex once again, right? So we've got some of Texas, we've got Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and even Alabama. We're seeing some storms moving through, and some of these are actually producing some really good size hail. Titan impact range at Weather Co-op is ranging between 2.6 to 5.0, which tells me they're strong. And the reason is there is a cold front that was stationary, and that stationary boundary began to move along, and as it did, it certainly became a lot more aggressive because that cold air meeting up with that warmer air mass, that doesn't fare very well. So we're going to talk about that. Let's get some wind particles on here so you can see what I mean. Woo! Jeez, look at that, all right? So I'm telling you, right, that cold front comes through and they're not liking that warmer, moist air, right, that tropical air. So you can see what happens there. But I'm going to talk about a few things here, including that frontal boundary, an elongated area of low pressure, and of course, Hurricane Helene. We'll talk about Invest 98 and Invest 99L as well. And then an area of high pressure that's sitting in the middle of the country. That is also one of the steering mechanisms, not directly, but anything and everything that's in the atmosphere will impact how Helene moves and where she essentially will make her landfall, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue here with our 2-hour loop, and we're going to talk about some of the alerts that I see here. Now, this looks like Montana, Wyoming. This looks like it's fire weather, so we'll quickly touch on that. And let's see what we have here. Red flag warning in effect from noon today to 8 p.m. That's Mountain Daylight Time. This evening the big concern is gusty conditions, low relative humidity. So fire weather zones for you include 314, 315, 316, 317, and 322. Affected area zones also include 314, Northern Campbell 315, Southern Campbell 316, Crook County Plains 317, Weston County Plains, and 322, Fall River County. So we're seeing relative humidity